Well, thank goodness the rain has stopped. As you could hear, it gets really loud on our tin roof. So as I was saying, I realised as soon as I began to look at my brother-in-law as my brother, then everything changed. My life changed, and and I feel sad that people who come here and without realizing it, they drag their their culture with them, and it's like they've got a huge trailer full of garbage that they're towing around with them. But this is only my opinion, and as really it's a spiritual decision that you make, and if you don't make that, then that's where you are in your lifestyle. That's where you are on the road to whatever state of being that you are pursuing. So why am I bringing all of this up of not integrating with family? Well, I actually, because it's on my phone, I can't read it on my phone because I'm filming on it, but I did write this down. So I'm going to read this particular comment which a man in Germany wrote to me. As he is public on my comments, I'm going to give just his first name, but Horst. And Horst said to me, this is when he was making a comment about what we're talking about now, about whether you should give this or that, whether you should support this, whether your mother-in-law's groceries, we get comments about this. Why should you be supporting your mother-in-law for her groceries? What what on earth would they expect that we would do? We live about 30 or 50 feet from my mother-in-law, and she is in her 70s. What are we going to do? Say, listen, Mom, so sorry about the groceries, but sorry, if you haven't got any money, let's face it, you're screwed. Yeah, we could do that, couldn't we? So here's Horst on the subject, obviously, of whether he should give. I live in Germany and I get enough old age pensions. Why should I give my pensions to Filipinos? I don't have to live in the Philippines. I have my condo to myself and my pension to myself. What a sad picture. Maybe you would think, well, hey, sounds good to me. He's got a condo in Germany, and he's got it to himself, and he doesn't have to give his pension away. He can spend it on himself. For me, I said, wonderful. You will die alone in your condo, holding on to your pension. Aren't you the lucky one? And that's the way that I feel about that. Is that if you come here, and for many people, they're coming here and they're leaving some kind of family behind. And this may be you watching this now, and you're contemplating coming to the Philippines, and you're reading all of these accounts where they're saying you shouldn't give your money away to people because they're just freeloaders, and they'll just use you. They'll just use you, and they'll just use you as an ATM or a bank, and that's the way that it'll be, and you'll be used and you'll be used up. And they believe this, and even Filipinos will say this too. On the video, not a video actually, it was like a still picture that Beth had put onto a picture of Beth and I sitting on a stair a resort that we were visiting very early on, and she said, this is our pension, a pension from the US and a pension from this is our expenditure on that, and she explained all of that. Oh gosh, that was very interesting to a lot of people, and it provided provided inspiration for being extremely judgmental. Now, this is what I never understand. I don't understand, why do people take it so personally that this is the way that someone who they have never met and will never meet, probably, unless they come to the Philippines and happen to stop by Taliban and ask us, would we like to have lunch, and we'll be happy to do that. But normally they'll never meet, and yet they have such incredibly judgmental views of the way that live. Recently on Facebook I posted a photo of our friends Alfred, who is German, coincidentally, of Alfred and Marie. A beautiful photograph for me of two people that looked very much in love. Now, he's in his 60s and she's in her 20s. Okay, so you may disagree with that as you wish. It always seems strange to me too that people will be vehement and judgmental about an age difference between two people who they'll never meet and are not going to impact their own lives. And yet they will be so, it's as if they're almost annoyed at the idea that these two people are so misguided as to be in love and be happy, heaven forbid, by being together. I never quite understand it. So, Mr. Horst, you're alone in your condo in Germany, and you're the lucky man because you don't have to give any money to a Filipino. Isn't that wonderful? You don't know what you are missing, because so many foreigners come over here and they're in their 60s. I see them in Tagbilaran, and I see a man who is obviously in his mid to late 60s, and he is wheeling a stroller with a child in it, and he'll have a young wife, and as I say, heaven forbid, he is happy. Now, it's not for me to judge whether he is good looking, whether he's attractive, whether he's charming, whether he is rich, whether he is foolish, whether she is too sexy or too plain or too old or too young. It's not my business, and it shouldn't be anybody else's. If someone decides that they want another chance at happiness, why can we all not say yes, go for it? Now, what you may find is that as you leave this family behind who have stopped coming to see you. My son, when I left, my son lived 15 minutes away, probably not even 15. It used to take me 15 to get to his place on my bike, and he never came to see me. Seldom, once or twice in 2 years. So, am I supposed to say, well, I'm sorry, but I better put up with that? No. When I talked to him, I said, listen, I'm feeling that I need to get out and have another adventure, you know. Life isn't over. I'm not going to sit here contemplating my navel, waiting for some life to come to me. I'm going to go out and I'm going to make it. And that's what I did. I came out and I made a life. I made a life. I found a woman who loved me and wanted to have a life with me for whatever is left. I'm 83 years old. I might die in my sleep tonight, if I'm lucky. Now, I mean, lucky about dying in my sleep, not whether I'm going to go tonight, okay? I'm a great believer in that song, that the American song, I think it was like a country and western song about everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to go right now. So I'm putting it off, God, for as long as I possibly can. But I'm here just to end off. I went to see my youngest son, who is living in the UK. He's half Filipino, half me. And he was very interested in, Dad, why don't you come and live in the UK? Why don't you come and live here? He said, you could go, and you could go with your suitcase straight off the plane and go to the council, the local, wherever you want to live, go to the local council officers and say, hey, I'm homeless. And you're throwing yourself on their mercy. And you sit there with your suitcase and they've got to do something with you. You know, like you're a piece of baggage. So you got your suitcase and you. And what's the difference between the two? We've got to do something about them. And they'll put you into some kind of bed and breakfast hotel, and then they'll find you an apartment and they'll help you to furnish it, and they'll give you, and then they'll give you, and then they'll give you this and give you that. I said, hold on a second, and then what would I do? Sit in there being old? We went on the underground, on the tube, and while I was there, I'm standing there because it's pretty crowded, and a young man starts talking to me and he said, you can have my seat. Now I said, no, I don't want your seat. Thank you very much, but I'm stronger than I look or than you think. So I said no to going to live in the UK, and I say no to all of those people that say, why don't you get citizenship for your wife so that she can go to the UK and have a better life. We have a very good life here. I have things that I do to change people's life. I enjoy giving. I find that giving is more fulfilling than receiving. I've had a great life so far, done a lot of things, had some great adventures, and now I'm beginning a new kind of life for the last 6 or 7, 8 years, 9 years now. And I'm more than happy with the way that things are. And if you are thinking about coming here, you can come and you can have a house that has a stainless steel kitchen if you want to. You can do that, but you don't have to. You can come and you can start making changes for people's lives who have so little compared to you. And you can share. You can have an extended family. You can have a new brother or a new sister, and you can have a new mother, and you can have a new father, and you can be better than you were before. You can be fulfilled. Mr. Horst, that's what you're missing. Now I've got to go because I can hear that child, lovely, yelling. She's the noisiest thing on the planet, I can tell you. Beautiful, but noisy. Thanks for being with me.